Have you ever stopped to think about the tiny tool sitting on your desk that holds your life together, literally? The stapler might seem like a boring office gadget, but its story is wilder than you might expect. From royal courts to modern offices, this little device has a history packed with ingenuity, drama, and even a few surprises. Stick around, because today on Objectified, we are diving deep into the origins of staplers. And trust me, you'll never look at that click and clamp the same way again. Welcome back to Objectified, the channel where everyday items get their moment in the spotlight. I am your host, and today we are tackling an unsung hero of organization, the stapler. You probably use one without a second thought. School projects, work reports, or even that chaotic stack of bills you keep meaning to sort. But where did this thing come from? How did it evolve into the sleek, satisfying tool we know today? We are going to explore its origin story, trace its evolution, uncover its cultural impact, and toss in some fun facts that might just blow your mind. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's unravel the tale of the stapler. Let's start at the beginning, way back in the 18th century. The stapler's roots stretch to a time when people needed a better way to fasten paper than ribbons or wax seals. Enter King Louis XV of France. Yes, a king kicked this off. Around the 1700s, his court had piles of documents, treaties, decrees. You name it, and they needed a reliable way to keep them together. Craftsmen created a metal fastening tool just for him. Each piece was handmade, custom designed, and even decorated with royal insignia. Think of it like the Rolls-Royce of paper fasteners, fancy, exclusive, and totally impractical for anyone outside the palace. Fast forward to 1841, and an American inventor named Samuel Slocum steps onto the scene. He patented a machine that drove metal pins through paper and folded them at the ends. This was not quite a stapler as we know it, but it was a big leap forward. Slocum's device was aimed at the printing industry, where binding pages quickly mattered more than ever. His invention laid the groundwork, showing the world that metal could tame paper in a whole new way. Then, in 1866, the real game changer arrived. George McGill, another American, patented the first device we can officially call a stapler. McGill's creation used brass fasteners, small pre-formed staples that you loaded one at a time. You pressed it down, and boom! The staple pierced the paper and bent to hold everything in place. It was clunky, slow, and honestly a bit of a hassle, but it worked. This moment marks the birth of the modern stapler's ancestor. And from here, things only get more interesting. So, McGill's stapler was a start, but it was far from perfect. You had to load each staple individually, and it took some serious elbow grease to make it work. Enter the late 19th century, when inventors started tweaking and tinkering. By the 1870s, companies like the Novelty Manufacturing Company began producing staplers that could hold multiple staples at once. These early models were still heavy, some weighed over a pound, and they looked more like industrial tools than office buddies. The big breakthrough came in 1896 with the E.H. Hotchkiss Company. They introduced a stapler that used a strip of metal staples glued together. Sound familiar? This was the first step toward the staple magazines we use today. You loaded the strip, pressed down, and the machine did the rest. It was faster, easier, and a total game changer for offices everywhere. Hotchkiss marketed it as a time saver, and businesses ate it up. Now, let's jump to the 20th century, because this is where the stapler really finds its groove. In 1937, Jack Linsky founded Swingline. Yes, that's Swingline, the name you probably know from every red stapler joke ever. Swingline's innovation was the top-loading design. Instead of fumbling with the bottom or side, you popped open the top, dropped in a row of staples, and got back to work. It was simple, reliable, and became the gold standard. By the 1940s, Swingline staplers were everywhere: offices, schools, homes. They even started making them in bright colors, turning a boring tool into a desk accessory with personality. Fast forward again to the 1960s, and we see the rise of electric staplers. No more hand cramps, just plug it in, press a button, and let the machine handle the heavy lifting. Today, we have battery-powered models, heavy-duty versions for thick stacks, and even staplers built into printers. The stapler has gone from a royal luxury to a high-tech helper, and every step along the way reflects how humans keep inventing better ways to stay organized. Okay, so the stapler is practical, but does it have a deeper meaning? Absolutely. Think about what it represents: order in a chaotic world. Before staplers, papers were a mess tied with string, sealed with wax, or just left to scatter. The stapler brought control, efficiency, and a sense of permanence. It became a symbol of the modern office, a quiet hero of the 9-to-5 grind. And then there's its pop culture moment. If you have seen the 1999 movie Office Space, you know the red swingline stapler is practically a character. Milton, the mumbling office drone, obsesses over his stapler, and it struck a chord with audiences. That scene turned the stapler into a cultural icon, a stand-in for every petty workplace struggle. Swingline even leaned into it, bringing back the red model after the movie spiked demand. It is proof that even a simple tool can carry emotional weight. Beyond movies, the stapler reflects bigger shifts. In the Industrial Revolution, it supported the boom in paperwork. In the digital age, it hangs on as a physical reminder of a pre-PDF world. It is not just a tool, it is a bridge between eras, a little piece of history you hold in your hand. Ready for some stapler trivia to impress your friends? First off, the world record for stapling papers together in 1 minute is 60 sheets. That is a staple every second. Talk about speed. Another wild tidbit: early staplers were so expensive that people rented them out instead of buying them. Imagine heading to a shop to borrow a stapler for the day. Here is a quirky one. The term staple comes from the Old English word staple, meaning a post or pillar. It evolved to mean a metal fastener because it stands in place, holding things steady. And did you know there is a right way to staple? Engineers say the flat clinch, where the staple legs bend inward, stronger than the curled clinch. Check your stapler next time and see which camp you are in. One more. During World War II, stapler production slowed because metal was rationed for the war effort. People had to get creative, using pins or clips instead. It is a small reminder of how even everyday objects get tangled up in global events. So, there you have Etha Stapler's journey from a king's custom gadget to a desk essential we all take for granted. It is a story of invention, adaptation, and a surprising amount of personality for something so small. Next time you staple a stack of papers, give it a nod for sticking with us through centuries of chaos. What do you think? Did you expect the stapler to have such a rich backstory? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the stapler's origins, hit that like button and subscribe to Objectified for more stories about the stuff around you. Got a favorite office tool you want us to explore next? Drop it in the comments. I read every one, and I would love to hear from you. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Objectified. We turned a humble stapler into a history lesson, and I hope you had as much fun as I did. Catch you in the next video. Until then, keep your papers together and your curiosity alive. See you soon.